So let's bring in Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby, who is here with us, and we are so glad that you are. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you.
You've done a huge amount of work this year, so we got lots to cover. On this, did you ever think that it was more than 100 Americans there? I mean, why was that so hard to nail down?
Yeah, it's a great question, Dana. It was a bit of a moving target throughout the evacuation because, as you know, we don't require American citizens to register their presence in Afghanistan. Most of them are dual nationals, so they were struggling with whether to leave or not. So sometimes we'd get an indication that, hey, I want to go, and then they might change their mind, and so they'd be taken off the list. So the number was a bit of a moving target. What I think is encouraging, though, is that now almost 1,000. Since August 31st, since we left, have been brought out, and we're continuing to look for others that want to go.
The problem with the number is that you were off by 90%.
Well, again, it's not a science, Bill. It's not like they register, on some sort of list that we just have that's static and permanent.
Were you assuming that they crossed the border into Pakistan, or what was the assumption?
There was lots of assumptions. Maybe they left overland to Pakistan, or maybe they just didn't want to declare that they were ready to go. The bottom line is, I think part of the problem or the issue is that, as we have proven successful at getting more out, more and more are now becoming more comfortable saying, hey, we want to go too. So again, we don't think it's a bad thing that the numbers increased. We think it's a good thing, and we're going to continue at this. Even though the military mission's over, the mission to help Americans leave Afghanistan.
So one more on that then. So because we know that a lot of veterans groups are still working on it to try to get people out. And
absolutely.
We interviewed a guy last week. His name is Bilal Ahmad. He's an American citizen, born in Afghanistan, served as an interpreter for us for many years, came to America, lives in Queens, American citizen now. His wife and son had gone to Kabul in July or so, or June, July. He goes to rescue them because they can't get out through the airport. He goes in to rescue them. Now he's in a UAE refugee camp, wife and son, and they can't get back because the State Department can't get the paperwork organized. And Congresswoman Meng, she's really trying, and I just wonder what it means for veterans who are calling the suicide hotline, distressed about this, that we can't figure out a way to get an American citizen back.
We understand the frustrations there. I mean, and every veteran of the war is processing all this in their own way. We respect that, and we know that there's a lot of still anxiety about friends, translators, interpreters, people that are there, family members that are there. That's why there's a task force. It's an interagency task force led by the State Department. And so in cases like this, we encourage, get us the information, get it to us here, get it to us at the Pentagon.
Well, I'll get you some more. It's Bilal Ahmad. Yeah.
Let's get to Ukraine. Earlier today, you were on another network, as we say, and you said you do not believe Vladimir Putin has the intent to go into Ukraine.
What I said,
based on what?
What I said was that we don't believe he's made a decision yet. Big difference there. We are still watching this very closely, Bill. I mean, he still has a massive amount of forces arrayed along the border with Ukraine, both to the north, east, and south. And it's not exactly clear what his intentions are, which is why I think it was so important for us to reach out to President Putin through President Biden to make it clear that we're watching this closely, that there will be consequences. And it's also important why we're reaching out to our allies and partners at defense, at state, to make sure that they're seeing the same things we are.
Do you think it would send a stronger signal to Putin if you offered more weapons to Ukraine or offered more support? Secretary Austin was there in October. That did not happen.
Well, we just completed a $60 million package of security assistance to Ukraine week before last. The last shipment was small arms and ammunition, but that shipment included 2 Island-class patrol boats and Javelin anti-tank missiles, and we haven't taken off the table additional security assistance. You heard Jake Sullivan talk about that. That's still something that's being considered.
Russia and China are talking. The Wall Street Journal headline, Russia and China's dangerous decline. Then they say that whether war breaks out will depend on how badly Beijing and Moscow fear the global power shift in the next decade and how eager they will be to exploit their perceived current relative advantages to remake the world. When I see all of that China and Russia getting together, I know this has been increasingly the way that they like to try to do business and try to push back against the United States.
Yeah.
How much does that occupy your time, thinking about China, not just the Taiwan piece, but the fact that they have this huge technological advantage on hypersonic missiles, for example?
The Secretary has called China the #1 pacing challenge for the department, and we have spent a lot of this year focused on the China challenge. You saw him out at Reagan giving a speech about that. They are developing capabilities, and pursuing concepts and behavior in the Indo-Pacific particular that it runs inimical to our national security interests and those of our allies and partners, which is why we're putting so much energy into this. But the other thing you heard the Secretary say, Dana, is that we have advantages too. And we have to approach the China challenge from a position of confidence, not fear, not trepidation. They're not 10 feet tall. And so, China and Russia want to talk, that's fine, they can speak to that. These are two countries that don't have a lot of friends, except maybe each other. And even that friendship, I'm sure, is not seated in a lot of trust and confidence.
But at that Reagan event, Secretary Austin, he said we're not seeking an Asian version of NATO.
That's correct.
But Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has been touring Southeast Asia all week. In fact, I think because of a COVID scare, they're calling a trip to Thailand short. However, it would appear that he is trying to assemble some sort of coalition that may perhaps resemble NATO. So, I mean, is Austin telling us what's going on, or is Blinken's actions for telling us what's happening?
I think the Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense are in exactly the same place here, Bill. This isn't about forming some formal alliance or, as you put it, coalition. It is, however, about reinforcing the alliances that we already have in the region. 5 of our 7 treaty alliances are in the Pacific. A lot of people don't know that. And also reinforcing partnerships and friendships that we have absent formal associations that are still important to us. So Indonesia, Thailand, there's all kinds of countries in the region that we don't have some formal treaty alliance with that are concerned about where China's going. And want to see the United States care about it too, want to see our leadership out there. We're not asking these countries to choose between the United States and China, but we are asking them to...
Would the United States be better off if we did?
No, I don't think so. I think, look, you have to understand a lot of these countries have economic ties to China that they're concerned about, and we respect that. What we want, though, is for the community of nations in the Pacific to realize what China's doing with this coercive, aggressive behavior, and to be willing to push back on that.
Hey, just one last question. So active duty military service members vaccinated, 96.4%, at least one dose.
Yeah.
90% fully vaccinated, though
Right.
some have been let go. But defense contractors, there's a pause, I understand, on
There's
that.
a court order that, yeah.
Where do you see this going?
Well, with the force, I think the numbers are really trending in the right direction. And I think you can see the vast majority of our men and women in uniform are doing the right thing, and they're getting that vaccine to protect themselves and their units. There will be small numbers that, without getting an exemption, will refuse to do it, and they'll have to be dealt with in the appropriate service-specific administrative way. But I think the numbers are going to be really small, Dana. I mean, you can see that ever since we made the vaccine mandatory, the numbers of fully vaccinated have just continued to increase. And that's good for force readiness.
I was surprised that there were 17 vaccines that are required for service members anyway.
Yeah, when you come in the military and you sign up and take that oath, you sign up to take vaccines.
Can you say,
keep yourself safe.
Sorry about the interruption here. Amtrak reversed itself, literally on the tracks of the vaccine mandate. Do you see the Pentagon doing the same?
No, I do not. In terms of the mandatory vaccine, no, I don't think
Not with
so.
numbers like that.
It is a valid military medical requirement, and the science has proven that it makes you more safe against this virus. And if you want a strong national defense, you want your troops to be protected. That it goes everything from body armor to a vaccine that you get in your arm.
And you have family that's still serving as well. So.
I do. My son's an active duty sailor in the Navy, an officer, and my son-in-law is one as well.
And who knows about the grandchildren?
We don't know how often you're in New York, but you're welcome to come back
Yes,
anytime.
love to have you.
Thank you so much, guys.
We have 1,000 questions every commercial break.
I'm ready for 'em.
Thank you.
I liked how he
John
tried
Kirby.
to show daylight between State Department and DOD. Like he's been around that track before.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.